A Netflix documentary made me realize my entire life was a lie. I was halfway through a new true crime documentary when I saw my father on screen, walking through the background of crime scene footage from 20 years ago. "Dad, you need to see this right now," I called out, pausing the screen on his face. He walked into the living room, and the second he saw himself on TV, his face went white. "Pack your things, Lee. We have 10 minutes before they realize we're blown," he said in a voice I'd never heard him use before. "What are you talking about?" My heart was slamming against my ribs because my boring suburban father was on TV at a murder scene from 20 years ago. He was already yanking photos off the walls and throwing them into the fireplace. My mother came out of her office looking annoyed until she saw his face. "They aired the footage," was all he said, and she immediately ran upstairs. I heard drawers slamming while I stood frozen, watching my dad pour lighter fluid on our family photos. "Stop standing there and get your emergency bag from under your bed," he said, and that's when I noticed the pistol in his hand. My legs felt like water as I ran upstairs and found a bag under my bed that I'd never known was there before, already packed with clothes and cash and a passport with my picture but a different name, Madison Charleston. There were also car keys to a vehicle I didn't recognize and a burner phone still in its packaging. My hands were shaking so hard I could barely zip it back up. "I'm not going anywhere until you tell me what's happening," I said, my voice cracking. My dad looked at his watch and then at my mom, who was suddenly in the doorway with 3 duffel bags. "Your real name is Madison Charleston, and we've been in witness protection since you were 5 years old," he said while the photos curled into black ash. The words didn't make sense, but the weapon in his hand was real, and the terror in my mother's eyes was real, and my entire life was apparently fake. "This can't be real," I said, backing against the wall. "We live in Ohio, and you work at State Farm, and Mom teaches piano lessons." My dad actually laughed, but it sounded bitter and wrong. "I haven't worked a day at State Farm, and your mother hasn't touched a piano since we got here. Those are just the stories we tell people." My mom was stuffing ammunition boxes into one of the duffel bags like this was completely normal. "The piano students who come here are federal agents checking in on us," she said without looking up. My mother's phone rang, and she answered in a harsh, guttural language, then switched to English. "Handlers compromised. We're on our own. They killed Tyson an hour ago." My dad swore and pulled a revolver from inside the cereal box. Everything felt like a movie happening to someone else as I watched my suburban dad check the ammunition like he'd done it 1,000 times. "How long until they get here?" he asked my mom. 20 minutes if we're lucky, 5 if we're not," she replied, and then looked at me. "Can you shoot?" I shook my head, and she pressed a knife into my hand instead. "Then you carry this and stay between us no matter what happens. Someone leaked that footage on purpose because they've been looking for us," my dad explained while my mom backed the car into the garage. "I testified against the Serbian mob about those murders. They think I died that day with the rest of the Ansel family, but I survived and helped put them in prison. Now they know I'm alive." The documentary was still paused on his face, and I wanted to throw up. "But why did you testify?" I asked, and his jaw tightened. "Because I helped them launder money for 5 years, and I knew where all the bodies were buried. The law gave me a choice, and I chose to keep you safe." My phone started buzzing with texts from my best friend, but my dad grabbed it and snapped it in half, then threw it in the fire. I watched my best friend's messages disappear into flames along with every photo of my fake childhood. Lee Lane was already dead, and I was Madison Charleston now, someone I didn't even know how to be. "Will they hurt my friends?" I asked, suddenly terrified for everyone I knew. "They only want us," my mom said, but she didn't sound completely sure. The doorbell rang, and my parents both raised their weapons. "I know you're in there, Wade," a man called out with an accent that made my mom grab my arm hard enough to bruise. "Netflix is amazing, isn't it? My nephew called me 20 minutes ago about the documentary. He recognized you immediately, and then we checked your daughter's Instagram. So many helpful photos with location tags." My stomach dropped because I had posted a picture from our front porch just yesterday. My mom was pulling out a Glock from her purse like it belonged there. The man outside laughed and said something in Serbian to someone else. "Come out and we'll make this quick, or we can burn the house down with you inside like we should have done 20 years ago." My normal Tuesday had turned into a nightmare, and I couldn't stop shaking. "How many?" my dad whispered to my mom. She peeked through the blinds and held up 4 fingers, then pointed up and held up 2 more. 6 people had come to kill us. "When I opened the garage door, you drive straight through whatever's in front of us," my dad told me, pushing me into the driver's seat even though I'd only had my license for 3 months. And that's when I saw the black SUVs blocking both ends of our street. Full story on the channel below.